Yeah, no, that'd be great. I know. No, I broke some of this. Oh, I know. I'm just saying. What page is that?
Yeah. I don't know.
And we are just singing a lot.
I can do it.
Oh, yeah.
I can do words. Oh, nice. Okay.
I didn't pass out the reference.
Good morning.
Hello. Welcome to today's service. Will everyone please gosh show for opening meditation? We surround all men and forms of life with infinite love and compassion. Particularly do we send forth loving thoughts to those in suffering and sorrow, to all those in doubt and ignorance, to all those who are striving to attain truth, and to those whose feet are standing close to the great change men call death. We send forth oceans of wisdom, mercy, and love. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. This morning we will be chanting Jusege on page 23 of our service book, led by Sarah.
Yo
Will everyone please rise for the reading of the three treasures on page 3 and remain standing for the Gatha afterwards. The three treasures. Fortunate is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Rare is it to encounter the teachings of the Buddha, now we hear it. If we do not seek the truth of the Dharma in this life, in what life shall we find it? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken within us our highest aspiration. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the Dharma and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord and a life of harmony in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriad of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful teaching. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. So, will everyone please turn to page 184 for the Gatha with grateful hearts in the purple service book. We will be singing verses 2 and 3.
And Judy will play through the melody, through the entire melody first, and then we'll join in.
Please be seated. We will now hear a message from Minister Assistant Sarah.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's on.
There we go. I think I shortened Jusege unintentionally because I'm growing older and having progressive lenses and trying to look at something on a flat surface. All right. Please join me in Gasho for a reading from the private letters of Shinran. One must seek to cast off the evil of this world and to cease doing wretched deeds. This is what it means to reject the world and to live the Nembutsu. When people who may have said the Nembutsu for many years abuse others in word or deed, there is no indication of rejecting this world. Namo Amitabha Butsu. Namo Amitabha Butsu. Namo Amitabha Butsu. All right. Well, good morning, everybody, again. Thank you so much for coming. It's great to see everybody. I got inspiration from this from something I was reading from our library, actually. So if you're curious about it afterwards, there is a small green book entitled The Private Letters of Shinran Shonin. I highly recommend reading it. So just to give you kind of a precursor here. All right. Have you ever done something that you know you shouldn't do, but you did it anyway? Your parents say, don't do that. Or you know you're not supposed to, but you do it anyway? So maybe you felt that you wouldn't have to face the consequences of your actions. So when we're teenagers, of course, we are invincible, right? I think most of us as imperfect beings can relate to this regardless of age. For instance, when I was 20 years old, so a little bit out of the teenager angst, but still close enough, I went through a motorcycle training course. I wanted to be able to legally ride motorcycles in the state of Washington. When I completed the course, I went to the Honda dealership to look at motorcycles. I could hear my father's voice in my head saying, you should get a scooter or a smaller 250cc motorcycle, something safe, something good for beginners, right? Being the rebellious child I was, I did not go for the safe option. I fell in love with a gorgeous, large, 600cc, Honda Shadow Deluxe. It was a beautiful bike. I thought it was a fantastic idea. Next day, I took it out for a spin with my father, since I wasn't licensed yet. It was too big and too powerful for me. I ended up flying over an embankment. If you've ever been to the Kitsap County Fairgrounds, you'll know that there's a very large embankment from the nice concrete parking lot down to the soil below where the RVs and additional parking is at. That's what I flew over. The human body is not meant to fly, and neither are motorcycles. It took a crushed foot and a bruised ego to finally admit that I had chosen very poorly. The consequences of my choice were months of hospital visits, multiple surgeries to put my foot back together, and many, many months of physical therapy. I did, however, get a lot of ice cream, so I will say that. I think that many of us have that feeling of invincibility in our youth, that feeling that we can do whatever we want and we'll get away with it, no consequences. So Shimon Shonen had to deal with something similar among those he had taught. They, of course, didn't have motorcycles back then, but bear with me. There were some people who believed that they could do anything they wanted to do and still go to the Pure Land, so long as they said the Nembutsu. Bodhisattva Dharmakara's 18th vow, also referred to as the primal vow, states, if, when I attain Buddhahood, the sentient beings of the 10 quarters who, with sincere and entrusting heart, aspire to be born in my land and say my name even 10 times, should not be born there, may I not attain the perfect enlightenment. Excluded are those who commit the 5 grave offenses and those who slander the right Dharma. You notice that there were exclusions at the end. The vow doesn't say, hey, do whatever, as long as you say my name, you're good. So, the last exclusion, those who slander the right Dharma, is the easiest to explain, so I'm going to start with that one. On the ShinranWorks.com website, slandering the right Dharma is defined as saying there is no Buddha, no Buddha Dharma, no Bodhisattva, or no Bodhisattva Dharma. Deciding on such views, whether through understanding, thus in one's own mind, or receiving the idea from others, is called slandering the right Dharma. So keep that one in mind, because we'll come back to that one. Now, on to the first exclusion, which was those who commit the 5 grave offenses. In teaching, practice, and realization, Shinran gives a few different lists that cover the 5 grave offenses. Bear with me, there's a couple of lists in here. I love lists. So, Shinran's list. These are killing your mother, killing your father, those are very frowned upon, killing an arhat, so someone who has become enlightened, disrupting the Sangha, and injuring a Buddha. In the larger Mahayana tradition, there are a few others included, such as the destruction of stupas, sutras, and temples, slandering the teachings and or its practitioners, harassing a monk, the offenses from the earlier tradition, and the commission of the 10 transgressions. So you can see there's a lot of lists here. What are the 10 transgressions, you may ask? I'm going to assume somebody asked, and I'm going to say, I'm glad you asked. According to the Nichiren Buddhist library site, the 10 transgressions include the 3 physical evils of killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, the 4 verbal evils of lying, flattery or indiscriminate and irresponsible speech, defamation and duplicity, and the 3 mental evils of greed, anger, and foolishness, or the holding of mistaken views. So that's a really long one. But you get the idea that it's not as simple as, just saying the Nembutsu. Those exclusions were put into the 18th vow. In the private letters of Shinran, we don't see the letter that Shinran Shonin is responding to. But it is clear from the response that Shinran is not happy with what this person has been teaching. So please indulge me. I would like to read this letter to you. So this is letter number 16. If you want to look it up later on, or if you want to read the other letters, by the way, they are available on shinranworks.com for free. You can read them there. They are also available in the collected works of Shinran. We have a copy in the library, so that is available too. This particular section is called the Mato Sho, which means lamp for the latter ages. So letter number 16. I have heard that, knowing nothing of the scriptures or of the true foundation of the Pure Land teaching, you are telling people who are appallingly self-indulgent and lacking in shame that a person should do evil just as he or she desires. This is absolutely wrong. Were you not aware that I finally broke off relations with Zenjobo, who lived in the Northern District? If a person, justifying himself by saying he is a foolish being, can do anything he wants, then is he also able to steal or to murder? Even that person who has been inclined to steal will naturally undergo a change of heart if he comes to say the Nembutsu, aspiring for the land of bliss. Yet people who show no such sign are being told that it is permissible to do wrong. This should never occur under any circumstances. Maddened beyond control by blind passions, we do things we should not, and say things we should not, and think things we should not. But if a person is deceitful in his relations with others, doing what he should not, and saying what he should not, because he thinks it will not hinder his birth, then it is not an instance of being maddened by passion, since he purposely does these things. They are simply misdeeds that should never have been done. If you say something to stop the wrongdoing of the people of Kashima and Namikata and correct the distorted views of the people in that area, it will be the sign that you are representing me. It is deplorable that you have told people to abandon themselves to their heart's desires and to do anything they want. One must seek to cast off the evil of this world and to cease doing wretched deeds. This is what it means to reject the world and to live the Nembutsu. When people who may have said the Nembutsu for many years abuse others in word or deed, there is no indication of rejecting this world. Thus, Shandao teaches in the passage on sincere mind that we should be careful to keep our distance from those people who are given to evil. When has it ever been said that one should act in accordance with one's mind and heart, which are evil? You who are totally ignorant of the sutras and commentaries, and ignorant of the Tathagata's words, must never instruct others in this way. Respectfully, Birth into the Pure Land has nothing at all to do with the calculation of foolish beings. Since it is completely entrusted to the primal vow of the Buddha, it is indeed other power. It is ridiculous to try to calculate it in other ways. 11th month, 24th day. So earlier in the letter, you may have noticed that Shinran said that he cut ties with Senjobo. So me being the curious person that I am, said, who's Senjobo? I've never heard of this person. In one of the other letters, so the 19th letter, Shinran states, people who look down on teachers and who speak ill of the masters commit slander of the Dharma. Those who speak ill of their parents are guilty of the 5 grave offenses. We should keep our distance from them. Thus, said Senjobo, who lived in the northern district, abused his parents and slandered me in various ways. I had no close feelings for him and did not encourage him to come to see me. Those who belittle the example of Yohobo, even though they hear of his birth, are certainly not his fellow practicers. I think this is a great example of Shinran really putting his beliefs into practice. Many of you know as well that Shinran had a son, Zenron, who he disowned because Zenron was in a way slandering the Dharma. He was speaking ill of his father, not directly perhaps, but saying that my father gave me this secret teaching and you can only get it from me. That's not what Shinran wanted at all. And so, when you find yourself faced with a moral dilemma, you may want to ask yourself, what would Shinran do? In closing, please join me in Gasho for a reading from the private letters of Shinran. One must seek to cast off the evil of this world and to cease doing wretched deeds. This is what it means to reject the world and to live the Nembutsu. When people who may have said the Nembutsu for many years abuse others in word or deed, there is no indication of rejecting this world. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Sarah, for your Dharma message this morning. Please rise for the Gatha, Ondoku-san 2, on page 153, and remain standing for the Daily Creed of Jodo Shinshu on page 8. The Daily Creed of Jodo Shinshu. Realizing enlightenment is assured and reciting the Nembutsu, I shall live my life cheerfully and positively. Understanding the oneness of life and cultivating self-reflection, I shall diligently attend to my life's tasks in gratitude. Recognizing the Dharma path, I shall help spread the teachings of the Buddha. Appreciating the Buddha Dharma, I shall respect and help others, working for the good of society. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please be seated. Are there any guests today? And are there any announcements today?
Hi, this is Melissa. It's been a while. I'm so happy to see almost everybody here, and I hope that I can continue to see more and more faces. It's not so much an announcement, but I feel like I have to say something to kind of clarify any information that might be going on out there. So Joseph and I decided we were better as having a friendship, and we're both perfectly happy. We actually went to a concert on Monday. I guess it just kind of plays into the, kind of the love and permanence. We just felt like it was better on both ends. He's in Central Washington, but if he ever does come and return, and he loves helping out with the rice at events, just welcome him. He's a good guy. There's absolutely no hard feelings. So, and then if anyone has any questions or if there's any rumors that might need clarification, just let me know. It's pretty much an open book at this point. So thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to coming over more often on Sundays. It's just been a crazy, crazy summer, and and again, if Joseph comes by, please make him feel welcome. Thank you.
Here's a sign-up sheet on the back bulletin board. We have an opportunity to cook once a month for the Ray of Hope, and it only takes about 4 people, but as many people would like to, please sign the list, because we're hoping that there's going to be more than the same 3 or 4 names every month, and then we hope to do this every month. It says October, November, December, and the 4th week. However, in November and December, we're going to find out if we can do it the 3rd week, since it's holidays, November and December. So if you have an opportunity to help on the 4th Wednesday of this month, please go ahead and sign up on the bulletin board. Thank you.
I have 3 announcements. The first one is there's a reminder that there's a board meeting today in the back for service. So board members, if you can join us, that'd be great. The second thing is the bazaar is coming. If you haven't gotten your newsletter, if you haven't seen any emails, it's coming. And so we're looking for volunteers. And so I made a very rudimentary volunteer sign-up sheet for some of the shifts and some of the tasks that need to be done. So see me after service if you are interested in volunteering. It will go out via email later this week, so if you prefer to do it online, which is a lot easier, we would really appreciate it. But again, if you are not as inclined to do that, I have this fancy sheet here. And then the third thing I'll mention is I just want to thank everyone who came out yesterday to get your booster shots. We were really pleased with seeing a lot of community members show up. On your way out, there are many COVID test kits, because COVID is not over. And we have test kits, we have hand sanitizer, we have wipes, we have all kinds of good stuff. And I think there's some snacks left over from yesterday as well. So feel free to take some as you leave today. Thank you.
I think with all the Kindle sign-up announcements, there is mochi making next Saturday at 8 a.m. and then there's pie baking / chicken prep on Saturday the 22nd at 8 a.m. So, with that being said, will everyone please show for closing meditation? Just as rain falls on all vegetation, so Buddha's compassion extends equally to all people. But just as different plants receive particular benefits from the same rain, so people of different nature and circumstances are blessed by different methods. Namo Buddhas. Namo Buddhas. Namo Buddhas. Thank you for joining our service this morning, and please show before you leave the home.